Coming off the heels of a loss at Bedlam, listen, we're heading into a big recruiting weekend because Oklahoma's got West Virginia at home, 6 p.m. night game kickoff. This is the one we've been waiting on. This is the weekend where you're going to be able to have five-star recruits galore come in and be able to experience a game day at Oklahoma. Now, some people might ask, how does losing in Bedlam affect recruiting? And I was talking to Jay over to Unfair Sports about this because it's actually an interesting question that I think a lot of people are going to have. And here's the deal. I don't think losing in Bedlam actually affects recruiting as much as people think it does. OU went 6-7 last year. OU is massively turning around this program. And if they still go out there and win 10 games, go to a bowl game, win their bowl game, a lot of recruits are going to look at this as a massive success. And also a massive turnaround improvement for Oklahoma. And I've kind of talked to some recruits, and they've all said the same thing. So Brent Venables and the staff, they have it going in the right direction. And I think where we think you have to be going undefeated to get these five-star recruits, that's not necessarily the case. And I want to start this one off with a former five-star recruit, now a four-star consensus recruit across all the recruiting boards, Kobe Black, the cornerback out of Waco, Texas at 6'1", 190 pounds. He was actually at Bedlam. Now, you might be saying Kobe Black sounds familiar. Well, yes, his brother is Corey Black, currently plays for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. And he was a former three-star recruit out of high school committing to Oklahoma State. And I think there was some question around why is this kid not giving Oklahoma State the chance? And quite honestly, guys, in my opinion, it's Gundy, because I've talked to recruits before, and the consensus behind it is Gundy just doesn't recruit these guys. And so Kobe Black announced his top 5 back on August 9th. LSU, Oregon, Texas, Texas A&M, and Ohio State. Interesting thing here. Oklahoma was not in this final 5. Now, they were in his previous top school list, didn't make the final cut. Yet, you heard some rumblings after the Texas game. Oh, there might be some smoke around Oklahoma potentially getting Kobe Black, at least on campus for a visit, and they didn't make his final 5. That's true. And where he was supposed to be there for the UCF game was an 11 o'clock game. I think it was expected that West Virginia would probably be the game you're going to get most of these recruits out for. Mainly because it was going to be a night game. Now, for a guy like Kobe Black, as you can see here, the crystal ball predictions, they're all in favor of Texas. And this has been someone that we've believed was going to be a Texas win for a while. Texas A&M, obviously they had a chance with their NIL program. Before their NIL program came tumbling down, who knows where that process is at. But Ohio State, they've been making moves in the secondary. So I really like how Oklahoma is trying to swoop in here at the last hour and say, hey, Kobe Black, did you see how Gentry Williams played against Texas? Do you see what Jay Valai is doing with these cornerbacks? And I think if you're an Oklahoma fan, you go, if they're making that pitch and they're getting, well, as you can see here, a composite 5-star to give Oklahoma a second chance and another look, you feel really good about how Jay Valai and Brent Venables are recruiting cornerbacks. And obviously, the way Gentry Williams has played, even after the University of Texas game, it only helps make your case. Gentry Williams has played himself potentially into a first-round pick when he's eligible to go to the NFL draft. I can't imagine what this guy's going to be like next year. Absolute lockdown corner. And you imagine Kobe Black's watched Woody Washington as well. Now, looking at some of the other recruits here. Grant Bricks. Nebraska loses this weekend. They lose a tough one. Honestly, Nebraska losing that game to Michigan State, that was a true heartbreaker. It helps Oklahoma out, but I don't think it helps Oklahoma out that much because Oklahoma loses to Oklahoma State. Obviously, we know Grant Bricks knows where the development's going to come from. That's not a question. Now, I've talked to a couple people, and I feel like I'm ready to officially submit my prediction for Oklahoma. If you guys want to know where I put these predictions in, I'm actually putting them in on my Instagram page. So you guys can jump down in the description and go follow me there, see my predictions. But Grant Bricks, I think after talking to a couple people, I'm officially on the Oklahoma bandwagon here. Eddie Pierre-Louis. Man, this one's hard because I feel like I just got to pick a side at this point. One point I was Oklahoma, then I was leaning UCF, then I leaned Oregon, then I leaned back to UCF, and now I'm leaning Oklahoma again, but it's a very slight margin for Oklahoma here. And I think it's going to be whichever school gets Eddie on campus first, that's the one that gets him. Because, and I say that because he was supposed to make it out to UCF last week and didn't. So for Oklahoma, that was good news in your part because, well, you kept yourself in this race. Oregon's going to be interesting to watch just because Oregon has came in and swooped in and stole recruits from underneath, especially on the offensive line before from other teams, including Oklahoma back in 2022. Oregon will be interesting to watch to see if they are able to make a pitch to Eddie that Oregon's the right place for him. Problem is, Oregon's even farther than Oklahoma from home. We all know Mom wants him to be closer to home, which is why UCF is probably even really in the mix. Eddie Pierre-Louis, we'll have more information coming on that this week because he's supposed to be attending the West Virginia game, but I'll try to find out some more and get you guys some information on that. As far as that goes for 2024, I think we're pretty much done there. You might have a few flips predictions trickle in. I'm curious to see what happens with Williams-Winery now that Mizzou lost to Georgia. But Mizzou actually, I'm not going to say they dominated, but they beat Georgia in the trenches. And I feel like that's going to go a long way for Williams-Winery. I don't think you get Williams-Winery on campus, but I think this goes down to signing day. And right now, I would say Oklahoma's got a 35% chance to flip Winery. And if you know, a couple of weeks ago, I said, hey, that was probably a 5% chance. The moment Wingo did not commit to Mizzou, I think it changed the perspective of this recruitment drastically. So I'll continue to follow up my sources around Lee Summit and Williams-Winery. We'll try to get you guys some more info there. As far as Bryant Wesco goes, you guys know I'm not hopping off the train. I thought because he submitted that graphic saying that his recruitment was closed, that his recruitment was not closed. He just wanted people to stop messaging him. So we'll have to see how Clemson finishes the season. I think that's what this is going to come down to for Bryant Wesco. Sammy Brown, though, I know some of you guys have asked about that. I don't think it's going to happen. Same thing for Peyton Pierce. Dominic McKinley, though, and Terry Bussey. Those are two prospects that Oklahoma is definitely not going to be falling behind on. Dominic McKinley, I think, leaning Texas right now, but Oklahoma has been fighting Texas in this battle the entire time. And at one point, they had surpassed Texas. And I don't think it's going to be hard for Oklahoma to make that pitch again to try to teach McKinley, hey, this is where you want to be. As far as Terry Bussey goes, we know what that relationship looks like with Emma Jones. We know Emma Jones is going to continue pushing. I wonder if Emma Jones is going to be back out there to watch him play a high school game again. So that'll be interesting to watch. See if Terry Bussey can make it back up to Norman for a visit. 2025. Alex Shield Knight's making his decision on November 10th. Fully expect that to be Oklahoma. I expect to see Tristan Haynes from Carl Albert also be making his decision this month as well in favor of Oklahoma. Oklahoma's already got one linebacker commit in the 2025 class, whether it has not been, it's been public, but it's not like graphic public yet. So, and then Oklahoma's got, I think, a safety and an offensive lineman, pretty much on the verge of committing. I'll be doing a little bit more follow-ups there, maybe even try to get those two on the podcast, so make sure you guys stay tuned there. But I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what y'all's feelings are around recruiting for Oklahoma post-Bedlam, and this is a big recruiting weekend for Oklahoma, so make sure you guys are staying tuned. We'll bring you guys another update on Wednesday, and then, of course, we'll bring you guys a final visitor list on Friday. But if you haven't already, make sure you guys are jumping down in the comments below, joining the discussion. If you have not already, go ahead and hit that like and hit that subscribe button.